Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome the Vice President Technical of the Uganda Rugby Union. Just one question for you, Mr. Eric Butime. How much work has gotten into preparing the Uganda Rugby Cranes for this year's Rugby Africa Cup, which will be played at home?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is very odd because the revelers here probably want to get this done quickly. So talking to the camera, the question is, how did we prepare? A lot of work went into preparing. I think this is probably the most prepared or best prepared team in recent history, thanks to especially the Blue Bulls rugby program. We had 7 of our players there for 2 months, 3 months. We set a big squad, a very big traveling squad for 3 test games. So we put the team into camp. When I say camp, I mean training. Earlier than most years, I hear the coach has the biggest headache in terms of picking his final 28. Rumor has it that this is the toughest squad to be picked in Uganda for a while. So yes, Mr. MC, a lot of work has gone in. We're very proud.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. And now we shall have the technical manager, the team manager of the technical bench of the Uganda Rugby Cranes, for 2 reasons. One, to introduce his management of the team, and then we shall have the squad announcement, the 28 men that will represent Uganda at the Rugby Africa Men's Cup. Mr. Team Manager.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for showing up here today. We have 2 gentlemen seated here, but the team is coached by a wider group of 5 gentlemen. Here today we have Timothy Mudola, who is in charge of S&C. He must be seated somewhere up there. Then we have Alex Muiru, in charge of forwards and hookers. I hope you all understand what hookers do. Then we have Marvin Odom. He's also a forwards coach who provides us with a lot of vast experience. Then amongst the gentlemen seated here, there is a vice assistant coach, Leo Mbambula. He is in charge of backs and attack. Then we have our head coach, Mr. Mudola. He's the overall manager. We rely on him for guidance and everything. I'm called Andrew Ekopit. I'm the team manager. I'm assisted by a gentleman called Chimeze. Must be in the crowd somewhere. Chimeze Isaac. So, in the vast interest of time, I think we should proceed. I'd like to invite Coach Fred to say a few words, and then name the team. For the players, if your name is mentioned, please walk up here and just stand behind us. Thank you.
Where's that feedback coming from?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, this is the toughest task for any head coach, having to select a squad. Yet we had a wider squad of over 46 players, all capable of playing. This was quite stressing, headache. But we have to do it. We have to come up with the 28, and my hope is the 28 selected. Please put your hand up. For those who have not been selected, we still have the November tests, and we've got to keep working. Cheers. So without further ado, I think let me head straight into the 28th. We're going to represent Uganda in the Rugby Africa Cup. Number 1 is Gwambali Nathan. Number 2, Odugo Faraj. Where is he? Juko Jude. Centers are Wycliffe Santos. Mike Steve Masendi. Chibumbi Saul. Asuman Mugerwa. Emong Elifaz. Opio Julius. Odom Charles Uhuru. Robert Aziku. Wandera Brian. Gongodio Sydney.
Ziwa Moses. Aturinda Alex. Omoding Mark. Kalunji Wilfred Poole. Jadwong Joseph Aredo. Gokto Thomas. Kamiza Jones. Chisiga Timothy. I think he's not around. Yes. Sembusi Shakim. Oyet Joseph. Arnold Jones. Ochen. Is it Osen? And Wokorach Philip, I think, who is flying in today. Then Conrad Wanyama, Vice Captain. Okay, Tayet Brett Byron, Vice Captain. And the Captain, Ivan Magom. You didn't put the result? Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, these are the 28 players selected to represent Uganda. We have, I think, 7 reserves, because it's a very, very tight schedule, 3 games in, I think, a week. So yes, as per the rules, we set some reserves who stay put and fit in case of any injury. So the reserve one is Emiem. Then we have Eba Aturinde. Kato Nicholas. Blair Aezibwa. Odrua. And Haruna Mohammed. Yeah, so that is the team, ladies and gentlemen.
There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our national team for the 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup will take a moment for the team of photographers to get a shot of the 28 men. Thank you. I would like to invite the captain of the Uganda Rugby Cranes and the coach for some questions from the media present. Brad, you have a question? Ruben, you have a question? You have a question? Yeah? Okay, no problem. I'll ask them one question each. I'll ask them one question each and I proceed. Yeah? I will, yeah, don't worry. But I just need to know if anyone has a question. You have a question? No one has a question? Coach, Mr. Fred Mudola, one question, just one question for you. In 2007, when Uganda won the Rugby Africa Men's Cup, you were on that team, and you've had the privilege of being an African champion before. Now you're in charge of steering the team to victory at home. How confident are you in the men that you have selected that they will make sure that this trophy stays here?
I'm very confident because of two reasons. We've put in the work. The coaching team has really helped me put in the work. The union put the team into camp. Then the trip to South Africa. And the fact that we're hosting, really, there's a lot playing into our favor. So I'm confident the 28 selected will pull it off amid this tight competition. Because for once, I think other countries have not taken the Africa Cup lightly. All countries have put in practice, trial games, and selected their best teams. So it's going to be a very tough tournament.
Thank you very much, Coach, and wish you all the best once the tournament gets underway. Captain, please. Captain Ivan Magom of the Uganda Rugby Cranes. You've played at home before as captain, but this is a different ball game. This is the Rugby Africa Men's Cup. The last time we played at home was in the Victoria Cup, turned out victorious. How much of a boost is the home advantage that Uganda enjoys playing in such tournaments?
Can I hold? Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank my brother Eric Mulamula and Bourbon for setting this up. I'd also like to thank our amazing sponsor, Nile Special, for making this possible. Thank you very much. Yeah, your question was, this is the Africa Cup. Yeah, I've played in the Africa Cup before, from the under 20 level to the senior level. But the new format is really amazing. We are going to enjoy the home support. The weather is going to be favorable. So yeah, I think there's lots of things in our favor going into the tournament, and we just have to capitalize on this.
Thank you very much, Captain. Yeah. Tickets for the 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup are already up and on sale. You can find the tickets online and at the different selling points. They will be going for 20,000 Uganda shillings for the general access, 50,000 for VIP, and 150,000 for the platinum ticket. You can get discounted offers on the MTN Momo app. We know this tournament is going to be at home. We're calling upon all the fans to come in numbers and support the national team. And one of the men that have always been the 16th and on the front line for Uganda is none other than Edward Chiwanuka. If you could please join me here to give one rallying call to Uganda and the rest of Africa to come and add their voice to the 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup.
Yes, sir. Am I loud and clear? Well, no. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I know it has been a tough moment for everyone. 3 months of training, and we know once we host, it's not so. So are we ready, guys? Are we ready? Uhuru, are we ready? Sure. Mantunga Bako. Eh? Hey Uganda, eh? Hey Uganda, eh? Good. So ladies and gentlemen, Saturday we are going to be at Nambole, and tonight here, courtesy of the best beer in the whole world, Now Special, we are giving out more than 100 tickets. Very simple. What you have to do is buy a bucket of Now Special. How many bottles are they? 5? Yes. Instantly you win a ticket. So we have no reason to say Nambole Tagenda Kujwa. We must feel in Nambole, and the boys have said it is staying here at home. So Captain, just know we are going to sing and make sure it stays here at home. So ladies and gentlemen, it's going to happen here at Bourbon today. Till morning, make sure you buy yourself a bucket of Now Special and win a ticket immediately. So buy Now Special, win a ticket. And I know, Simani, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. So ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to be around and make sure we win with the best beer in the whole world, that is Now Special. So if you're out there, if you are here, please make sure you buy a bucket and win a ticket. And for the people who are out there, please, Saturday, make it a point from 8 a.m. till late to Genda Kuchukuba. Honest, isn't that too much English on a Sunday? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eddie, and hope to see you on Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this squad announcement of the 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup for the Uganda Rugby Cranes. Thank you, Mr. Team Manager Andrew Ikopit and your technical bench. Thank you very much, Mr. VPT Eric Butime, for gracing us with your presence. Good luck, my dear Captain Ivan Magomo and Coach Fred Mudola, and to the rest of the Uganda Rugby Cranes. The 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup will begin on Saturday. Kick off at 10 a.m. with Namibia And of course, the big one, the Uganda Rugby Cranes against Zimbabwe at 4 p.m. at the Mandela National Stadium in Nambole.
Kicking my baby in the treetop. Love so nice, so you know we can't stop. From the first touch, girl, you find a weak spot. We can love her. Monday and Tuesday we can't link up. Wednesday and Thursday we have to work so. Friday on my day, nice this pop. Can't wait to cuddle up, so baby hurry up and come my weekend love. Yeah, yeah. When we make love all night, all day. Weekend love, yeah, yeah. When we make love, yeah. Me just want the weekend to home, well want see you. Have a package, I know me well want gear. Check in from my base, you know when I have to go I real me. You want some wine, what a real nice trio. Me have the remedy, mixed with the energy. And the game we go play, no need no referee.
Ivan Magomu, the captain of the Uganda Rugby Cranes, for another year running. I would like to ask you perhaps the most important question. Yes. Looking at the squad and all of you, and you as well, there's quite some bruised players. How tough or how challenging was that 10 days that you spent in South Africa?
That's why it's called camp, being sent away from your home country to a foreign country, practically it was like on a mission, to polish up our skills, and it was really tough, really brutal, but we managed to come out of it. The weather was really, really, really tough. We played against really big boys, and there's 1 or 2 or 3 things that we picked up, and yeah, we are back alive, very strong and breathing.
That's very good to have you back. One question though, you were cleaning up on the things that you needed to work on. This is, according to the Uganda Rugby Union Vice President Technical, the best prepared team that he has seen for the Uganda Rugby Cranes. The squad has some debutants, has some players from the sevens. You're playing at home, in front of a home crowd, in a cup that we have won before. Let's talk about the team chemistry in the squad. Where do you think Uganda is when it comes to bonding with each other at this point?
That was the beauty of the camp, we went to camp and were able to bond, when it comes to playing for Uganda. We saw it in SA. Everyone is behind them, the whole country is proud. So it's one or two things we can, pick from there and bring back home. Yeah, when it's the national team, it's different players, the best crop of players from the local league and maybe some professionals that come together. So you have to gel, ASAP, and it's the camps that do that. Yeah, it's a mix of both young talent, exciting talent. We have a few young boys who've gotten debuts, on first attempt, and it shows that we have belief in the young players. And yeah, we've been playing together for some good time. The graduates, most of the leaders on the team now, are graduates of from the under 20 level. So yeah. It hasn't been really hard gelling and in terms of team chemistry, but yeah, we are really happy with everyone, everything, and yeah, I'm sure we shall do well.
The cup format is a knockout straight from the quarterfinals. You're playing against Zimbabwe, who have been to the Rugby World Cup before, who have reached the finals of the qualifiers before as well. It's going to be a tough opening fixture against them, right?
Yes, we never undermine any opponent. Yeah, we're always the underdogs. We've played Zimbabwe before. I've personally played Zimbabwe from the under 19 level. They're very decent side. We give them all due respect, but forget, we've also, we are African champions once, and we've come close to qualifying for the World Cup. So we keep knocking. The boys we sent down to SA were amazing. They got to feel, what our brothers from Zimbabwe do. Most of them have their trade in SA. They go to schools in SA over there, and when we went and joined them, we were able to polish up, and I can tell you that knockout tournament, we're not scared. We're playing at home, and I'm sure if all goes well, it will be a shocker for our brothers from Zim.
Right, thank you very much, Captain. Good luck against Zimbabwe and the rest of the tournament. Good luck, good luck very much, my friend. Yeah. And now we'll await the coach, Fred Mudola, as he gets the rundown of the other interviews with the press. get ready to welcome the head coach of the Uganda Rugby Cranes, Mr. Fred Mudola. He's getting through some media interviews. Just a quick rundown of some of the players who have made this squad, including some shockers. One, of course, the obvious ones, the captain, Ivan Magomo, with his vice-captains, Conrad Wanyama and Byron Oketayot. There's a host of experience on that team, including Asuman Mugera, who is one of the veterans and leaders on this squad. We have, of course, as well, the six men who spent, including Asuman Mugera, making it 7, who spent the past 4 months in South Africa at a camp with the Blue Bulls, preparing for this very tournament. That is Santos Senteza, Byron Oketayot, Faraji Odugo, Conrad Wanyama, Asuman Mugera himself, and Elifaz Emong. They will give a strong boost to this Rugby Cranes team. But of course, there's been some huge surprise names as expected, but we didn't expect this much depth that Coach Fred Mudola has gone for. He's picked men from the Uganda 7 squad who just came from Mauritius last weekend as African champions: Alex Aturinda, Timothy Chisiga, and Philippe Okorach, who had to leave the team, go to France, complete his move to RC Orléans, and now he's going to be back at home playing in the 15s game, some test rugby at home in the Rugby Africa Cup. Coach Fred Mudola, if you could please join me here. You're looking good, Coach. But speaking to you earlier, there was, you could tell that from yourself and from the other players, there's a certain sense of fatigue and stress from this whole camp, but you've come to the end of it. You've come to the 2024 Rugby Africa Men 7. There's some excitement in there, right?
Yeah, right. Of course, it was. The camp was very, very intense. Remember, we came back from South Africa. We had a few days rest. Then you're back in Jinja, putting in almost 4 training sessions a day. And for us management, then the headache of selecting the team. So yeah, it's been stressing, and the stress is just starting because now we have 10 days of action and putting the mind to work. Yeah,
it's good stress, isn't it?
I guess so.
Because the country is looking forward to winning another Rugby Africa Men's Cup. You won one as a player. Please, for some of us who did not have the privilege of watching you, please tell us about how that experience went in Madagascar.
Well, Madagascar, it's a story we can have a whole day, but just in a few minutes, the players believed in themselves. Yes, we had a good coaching team, but before anything, the belief within us as players, the senior players leading the team, and that's how we pulled it off. So as long as these players have belief, as long as the mind and spirit believe, then the body will achieve. Yeah.
You bring in the players. Let's talk about the 28 men that you've selected. Your leadership team has not changed. How much trust do you have in them to deliver the cup?
Well, we've been with them for 3 years. It's very important for continuity. And you still have a couple of senior players like you've seen. But also we've brought in a couple of youth for team continuity, and they've put up their hand. So the leaders have full trust. And like I said, it starts from them. Then it trickles down the team, the belief. And I have belief that they will lead the country to that glory. Mm.
What was the hardest position to select from?
The back row, the locks. I think we have a couple of those in the country, and then the centers. Yeah.
Those positions that you mentioned interest me because in one of them there's a Uganda men's 7s player, Alex Aturinda, at the back row. He just came back from Mauritius. You've added 2 others, Timothy Chisiga and Philippe Okorach, to your team. Care to explain to us the backstory to the selection of the 3?
Okay, with Timothy Chisiga, we actually joke, he's part of the 15s. Remember last year, I think he did 15s all through. And even as he had the 7s training, he kept coming in 15, so he's not going to be new, he knew. For Philippe Okorach, we were with him in France. Even Tunisia, he got injured, but he was supposed to play. So he's been in the system. And they help the backline, man. You know, most of the players are in the 7, so we're thin there, so they will bring some experience. And Alex Aturinda also, I mean, he's a good explosive player to have. And he's hungry, so yeah, we selected him. And I'm sure they will add their good additions, yeah, to the team.
First game is going to be against Zimbabwe on Saturday at 4 p.m. at Nambole. New ground, but still have that advantage of playing at home. What kind of opposition are you expecting in the competition?
If you go back in history, Uganda-Zimbabwe games, they've been very tough. Either Uganda wins by close margin or Zimbabwe, because we somehow play same rugby. And of course, they have good experience because they have most of their guys play down south. So that's going to be very, very, very tough. And again, whoever wants it most will come out victors on that day.
Thank you very much, Coach Fred Mudola. From me personally and from the rest of the country, we wish you all the best in the 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup.
Thank you very much, and I hope the fans can come out in huge numbers and support us.
All right. We will be seeing Coach Fred Mudola again at the captain's run on Friday before kickoff on Saturday. But Mr. Ruben Chihumuro.
Hi.
Hi, Sam.
Smart for a Sunday.
Thank you very much. I've not seen you in a while.
I know you've been traveling around the world, but it's good to be back in Uganda. Of course, we have the Rugby Africa Cup here. There's nothing as special as, of course, having rugby here in Uganda, definitely.
Ruben, the team has been named. We have waited a very long time for the team to be named.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts, let's just start from there. First feelings.
First feelings, of course, the first thing that came around was the omission of Jacob Ochen. I think he had a very, very good season for the Hippos, especially in the lead up to the playoffs. It was interesting to find out why, of course, he was not part of that, but there are only a few positions that can be really put there. But unfortunately, he had to miss out. But he's a very incredible talent, and I'm sure he's going to keep his head up, and more rugby to come. Like, of course, Coach Fred said, there's Tunisia coming later on in the year. So I'm sure he's dejected, but he's not really put down entirely.
You've spoken about the missions before, the guys that have made it to the team. For me, I am.
You're asking about my first thoughts. Of course, looking at also some of the new guys that are coming in, Paul Kalunji, Brian Wandera, Jones Kamiza. He has had an amazing season. And to cap it off with a chance to maybe represent his country, of course, pending the 23 that's going to play, it's amazing to see these young lads being repaid for all the hard work that they're putting in.
I'm so happy for Jones Kamiza. If I tell you, I'm so happy for Jones Kamiza. I call him my captain in sevens, but I'm so happy that he's now going to play some test rugby. Those are the men that have made the team, but most interestingly, I think tomorrow on the space we'll just discuss and go deeper into it. The three men from the Uganda Men Sevens. Alex Aturinda, Timothy Chisiga and Philip Okorach.
Of course, when we were talking to Coach Fred, he talked about Philip Okorach, and everyone knows his experience. He is one of those, I want to call it a unicorn, that has been, of course, in both the 15s and the 7s. I know there is always that separation of both teams, but he's one of those guys that is always part of both setups because of what he brings to the table. And of course, his experience in France, it's something you can't miss out for a tournament at home that has a lot of pressure. But then you look at Alex Aturinda. I mean, he's one of the best back rowers in Uganda, and the amount of work he has put in with the sevens shows. I mean, it was hard not to select him. I mean, it was so hard. And then Timothy Chisiga, Mr. Safe Hands. I mean, you have to have that option at fullback, of course, with the other back three options that you have, but having Timothy Chisiga is a luxury, really.
Do you think in a way that has, because looking at it from what the union had communicated, that we're going to separate the sevens from the 15s, do you think in a way that has affected or maybe stolen the chance of some of the other players to make the team? You began with Jacob Ochen. There's a host of other men who have dropped from perhaps the 28 and now they're on the reserves, and some have dropped from the reserves and all the way out of the team.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, for players that put their bodies on the line and that also are just really working hard, they're going to feel hard done, definitely, because someone has to come from this side and then cross to the other side. But then it also brings one thing to question, that much as you're trying to separate the two, you can't entirely do it at once and just cut. So it's going to take time, and then perhaps in the future we'll have entirely 15s, entirely 7s, but you can't just have that happen in a short piece of time. Of course, with some of the special talents and some of the gaps in the backline, of course, with the people like Michael Okorach no longer being part of the setup, you need more experience in the backs. In the forwards, I think we're a little fine, but the backs will always need some of that experience, and the boys that have been selected, Timothy Chisiga and Philip Okorach, they bring that experience.
I remember in 2022, the last time we had the Rugby Africa Cup, it was played in France, but only two men that year played both 15s and 7s. That was Philip Okorach and Jacob Ochen. Jacob Ochen, unfortunately, has not made the team for his second stint with the Rugby Cranes. We play against Zimbabwe. Our bracket is the toughest. Play against Zimbabwe, then after that you play against either Namibia or Burkina Faso. Speak from your heart.
It's been.
How far do you think Uganda is going to go?
I don't want to put too much pressure on the boys, but I also want to be a little honest to myself. My biggest expectation for this tournament is to at least get the win on match day 1 against Zimbabwe. And then get out of all the chaos of the placement games and maybe risking even being relegated from this top tier. So if we can get that particular win, then everything else is fine. Going into Namibia, tough ask, but of course some of the things in the grapevine is that the team that Namibia is also bringing is not their entire team. They're going to bring a lot of youngsters that are trying to get into the senior team that is going to be vying for World Cup qualification. So it is something that they're looking at as a test as well. Of course they want to win it, but as a test, so they're bringing some of their more exciting youngsters, which gives us an opportunity perhaps to capitalize on that, and of course with our home support and of course the momentum of being at home. But first things first, let us play the first game that's in front of us. Zimbabwe, which is a very structured team. They've also been putting in the hard yards, and even on social media they've also started talking a little bit, so it's interesting. It's a good build-up. It's going to be a good 5 days of a build-up, but my expectation, I hope we beat Zimbabwe, and I believe the boys can beat Zimbabwe. Then we shall handle everything else from that point.
I think so too. I believe we have what it takes to beat Zimbabwe, the preparations. And Ivan Magomu mentioned it to me when we were speaking just now that some of the players who are on the Zimbabwe team play in South Africa, and we have had 7 players in there in the same system as them, so they know what it means to play against such a team. Hope the result can come. I hope we are able to, stay in the fight for the Rugby Africa Cup. It would be very beautiful to win it here and keep it at home for the second time. But Saturday will be the day of the action, beginning of course with Namibia and Burkina Faso, followed by Kenya and Senegal, right? Yeah. Then
Uganda?
Uganda is the last one against Zimbabwe. So then there's Algeria and Kenya. And Kenya is not playing Algeria, is it?
We need to really get these things before we start giving people wrong information.
But what we know is at 8 a.m., Namibia versus Burkina Faso. At 10 a.m., Namibia versus Burkina Faso. The 8 a.m. is for us. We're going to work.
Oh, yeah. You're looking at your fans, it's 10 a.m. And then the next game will be at midday. The next game will be at 2, and then 4:30 around there.
4 p.m. Uganda versus Zimbabwe.
Basically, around this time, if you can get leave, you need to just get leave and just enjoy rugby all through 3 match days. Of course, the 20th, the 24th, and then the 28th. 24th being a Wednesday, that one will be at Wankuluku. I think one day we need to have a proper interview just about that one and just the dynamics of playing at Wankuluku midweek. But of course, Saturday and then Sunday, which is 20th and 28th respectively. That one is going to be at Nambole, and it's as of course I was talking to the local organizing committee chairman Emmanuel Fodribo. He talks about it being a rugby festival. Basically, it's all about just making sure that the rugby fans come out regardless of what country they come from, that they're going to just be having fun, and they're just going to be focusing on beautiful rugby regardless of the country you come from. You don't have to only watch Uganda. You can watch Uganda, you can watch all the other countries as well, but it's all about just getting your value for your money and also enjoying an Nile Special while you're doing that.
Nile Special it is, beautiful rugby it will be, starting on Saturday. Ruben, there's lots to talk about, but we have to cut it short here. I will be speaking to you. Ever grateful to join you on that Monday night space as we go deeper into the happenings of Ugandan rugby. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us here on Kawowo Sports. Thank you to the Uganda Rugby Cranes. Thank you to Nile Special for hosting us here for the squad announcement of the Uganda Rugby Cranes, the team that will be representing the country at the 2024 Rugby Africa Men's Cup.